Okay, good afternoon, everyone. So, to establish a good flow of the event, everyone is reminded to observe the following house rules. So, first, everyone is expected to keep their audio on mute. And second, put your questions or issues that you want to raise in the comment section and kindly wait for the host to acknowledge your concerns. Thank you. So again, good afternoon to our Spartans who are here with us today in the afternoon session of our online town hall. So to formally start our event today, let us put ourselves in the loving presence of our Lord as we start with an opening prayer to be led by Miss Maria Belia Andrade, Sparta MUX officer, to be followed by the singing of the Philippine national anthem.
Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for the opportunity to gather today for Sparta's online town. Bestow upon us your blessing for the smooth conduct of this event so that we can show proper appreciation and recognition for all learners and guests. Thank you for your guidance in helping our learners complete their practice. We ask you to share your wisdom and strength with them once again as they begin their journey after their graduation today. Let them in up, let them in applying all the knowledge and skills they have gained for the nation and their country. This we pray, Amen.
Mga kababayan, ang pambansang awit ng Pilipinas. Kayang magiliw, telos ng sinakanan, alam ng puso, sa dikit mo'y buhay. Lupang binirang, tuyag ka ng magiting, sa manlulupin, di ka pasisigiw, sa nagagang tutok sa simoy at sa langit mong bangaw, ay hinatang tulad, awit sa pagkayang minamahal. Ang isang ng matawad mo'y tagumpay na naghihinig, ang bituin at araw niya kailan ang may di magdidinig. Lumagang araw ng warhagin pagsinta, buhay langit sa piling mo. Ang inigaya ng pagkay mga amin, ang mamatay ng dahil sa'yo.
Good afternoon again, everyone, and welcome to the afternoon session of the Sparta Online Town Hall. I am Arvika Yabiabe, and I am very excited about what is in store for all of us this afternoon. So, on behalf of Project Sparta, I would like to warmly welcome everyone who are joining us today via Zoom, and an equally warm welcome to those who are watching us through Facebook and YouTube live stream. Maraming salamat po sa pagsama sa amin ngayong Sabado. So for today's town hall, we aim to give updates on the future of Project Sparta, to motivate learners to finish their current pathways, and to introduce Linang to Sparta scholars and institutional partners. We would also have interactive game, so stay tuned for that. So it is really a jam-packed afternoon for all of us today. So I hope that you could stay with us for the whole duration of the event. And now to officially start our program and welcome us to today's event, may I ask for your undivided attention to this message from Compliance Systems and Analytics Unit Head of BDO Unibank Incorporated and Sparta subject matter expert, Mr. Aldri Chester D. Lim. Good afternoon, Sir Lim.
Good afternoon. Thank you, RV. And good afternoon to all our learners, institutional partners, subject matter experts, and the people behind Sparta. First, it is my privilege and great pleasure on behalf of Sparta to welcome you all to this afternoon's online town hall. We are delighted to have you here with us to provide you with key updates and what we can all look forward to for Project Sparta. I see that many of you are willing to spend your afternoon weekend with us. This is a reminder to us all just how important our work is for the development of our country's human resource. I believe this is the best time to be part of this growing community of data science and analytics practitioners, where we have seen companies slowly realizing the power of data-driven decisions. In fact, data has been increasingly the differentiator between winners and the rest of the pack. Companies like Google, Amazon, Facebook, and quite recently SpaceX and other industry leaders, what separates them from the rest is their ability to harness and derive insights from data that gave them an edge over their competitors. According to Forbes, moving to a data-driven business model where decisions are made based on what we know to be true rather than gut feeling is core to the wave of digital transformation sweeping through every industry in 2023 and beyond. It helps us to react with certainty in the face of uncertainty, especially when wars and pandemic upset the established order of things. In 2023, businesses will understand that data is the key to understanding customers, developing better products and services, and streamlining their internal operations to reduce costs and waste. However, it's becoming increasingly clear that this won't fully happen until the power to act on data-driven insights is available to frontline, shop floor, and non-technical staff, as well as functions such as marketing and finance. In fact, I have seen companies and organizations realizing the value of having people with data analytics skills embedded across teams and departments within the organization. This is what drives huge multinational companies like DHL Express, which we are all familiar of, to partner with online training providers like Coursera to provide trainings on data analytics to their employees across all departments, such as HR, operations, marketing, customer service, even security, and so on. Areas of the business where more than a decade ago, you would not imagine talking about data analytics. We in the Philippines are also catching up with this trend, with more and more companies undergoing digital transformations across different industries. Even our banking industry, from the traditional brick and mortar branch banking, where banks maintain several physical branches to reach its customers across the nation, today we are seeing the rise of the digital banks in the Philippines. In fact, as of August this year, the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas, or BSP, has issued Certificate of Authority to operate to 6 banks, allowing them to proceed with full operations as digital banks. This trend of digital transformation is true across different industries, not just financial sector. According to a 2021 report by Alpha Beta Strategy and Economics, backed by strong government support, the Philippines' digital sector contributes significantly to its economy today. In 2020, the internet economy in the Philippines was estimated to be worth $7.5 billion and expected to grow by 30% annually to reach about $28 billion by 2025. Can you just imagine the potential growth of data being captured and stored on a daily basis? If you are into data analytics, no matter which pathway you choose, this is an extremely exciting time with so many opportunities opening up out there. All it takes is for you to be patient and consistently learn and hone your skills and mature in your chosen field. In short, stay true to your course. Project Sparta has assembled subject matter experts across different industries to help you achieve your goal. Maximize this opportunity. And with Sparta's end goal to train and graduate 30,000 learners in data science and analytics, we hope that together we will be able to bring significant contribution to our economy. So again, I welcome you all to this town hall, and I hope this event will further excite and encourage you on your chosen pathway. And without much further ado, I'd like to turn over the floor back to RV, and I hope you'll enjoy the rest of the afternoon. Thank you.
Thank you very much for a very warm welcome and your words of inspiration, Sir Aldri. All of us really need to work together to harness the power of data for the betterment of our nation and to enhance our professional careers. So now we move on to our second speaker for today, as she hopes to answer the questions that many of us have been asking for the past few weeks. But before we delve in the discussion, we would like to remind everyone to listen carefully to the presentation, as majority of your questions might already be answered here. And so, to talk about the future of Project Sparta and to introduce us to Linang, ladies and gentlemen, let us welcome to the virtual floor Sparta Deputy Project Manager for MOOCs and SGP, Ms. Donna Pamela D. Gonzalez. Hi, Ms. Pam. Good afternoon.
Hi, RV. Let me do the presentation. I think medyo malakas yung ulan, and I think Pam has problems in her connectivity. So I'll do the presentation this afternoon. So good afternoon, everyone. It's my pleasure again to meet our scholars and present to you the accomplishments and the future directions of Project Sparta. So over the past 3 years, we have accomplished the following. We have produced, together with our subject matter experts, industry partners, and coordinating agencies, Analytics Association of the Philippines, and Course Bank, we were able to produce 30 massive open online courses on data science and analytics. Further, we also produce one bonus course which capacitates our stakeholders on freedom of information through the partnership with the Philippine Communications Operations Office. Further, we also produced, or with these 30 massive online courses, we were able to offer 6 main learning pathways. And just a few months ago, we also launched the 11 micro-specialization pathways, which gives you an opportunity, or which give you an opportunity to finish a specific pathway, only requiring you to finish or take 4 to 5 courses without a capstone project. With regard to people, we already had 42,559 approved scholars, 47,000 po doon yung mga nag-apply, 214 of which are unique pathway graduates, 226 are main pathway graduates, and we have 12,477 learners who finished at least one course. Next is we do have a significant 2,708 micro-specialization pathway completions, 29,774 course completions, 1,011 unique completers of at least one micro-specialization pathway, and 4,634 live course session completion. So this one, in the past 3 months, we were able to conduct Sparta live course sessions in order for us to help our learners finish their respective pathways, whether that is main or micro specialization. And of course, this is something, or these figures are something that we are proud of. And it's not, that easy na parang i-end na lang natin yung project. That is why the project team has a thought of, its future directions. But before that, we also had established 37 partnerships with different academic institutions, industries, LGUs, NGAs, and NGOs. With this, there are more scholars which were endorsed, and there were number of academic institutions which integrated the SPARTA courses in their curricula. And another is the policy. This will benefit our professional teachers to gain or earn CPD units. So later on, sir, how do we secure our CPD points? How do we get approval or certificate? How do we get approval from PRC? So later on, I will be reading some questions and answers relative to this particular concern. Okay? And medyo na-excite ako kanina, no, about discussing the future directions of the project. Again, we know that Project Sparta is a 3-year project of the Development Academy of the Philippines, funded by the Department of Science and Technology in cooperation with the Analytics Association of the Philippines and Course Bank. So with the future directions, we have received a lot of requests from our learners. Okay? It's telling us that the hope that the project will be extended. Of course, we have thought of that idea, but of course, there are a lot of considerations in order for this to happen. So, next. So previously, or in the past 3 years, we have utilized Course Bank. Okay? So yung Course Bank po, dito po tayo nag-enroll. Dito po tayo nag-take ng courses, and dito rin po tayo nakaka-receive ng mga certificates natin. And again, the courses will be only until November 15, and hindi na po natin ma-access yung mga SPARTA courses, and hindi na rin po tayo makakapag-enroll starting November 15. Kahit po medyo nag-end po tayo doon sa part na yon, we are introducing you a new learning management system wherein you will access the SPARTA courses or the SPARTA DSA courses through this platform under the Development Academy of the Philippines, which is LINAM. So what is a LINAM? Of course, it's a learning management system where we are going to house all the DSA courses that we produce. Kumbaga, kung ano po yung na-access nating content sa course bank, sa mga DSA courses natin on SPARTA will be transferred to LINAM. Okay? So ito rin po ay magsaserve bilang collaboration platform for students as well as teachers. So ano po ba yung pagkakaiba ng course bank at LINAM? Okay? Number 1, yung platform po ng course bank, it's based on Open edX system, while yung LINAM naman based naman siya sa Moodle. Good thing with course bank, nakakapag-allow po tayo na mag-enroll yung mga learners natin through themselves. No? However po, yung transfer po natin sa LINAM, yung project team po mismo yung dapat makapag-onboard sa inyo. Kumbaga, kami po yung mag-enroll sa inyo sa LINAM. Okay po? So with regard to the assessments naman, yung automatic and peer graded, pareho naman pong features ito nung dalawang platform. And sa certificates naman po, sa LINAM po medyo may limitation when it comes to issuing certificates. But again, ngayon naman po, when we started conducting the live course sessions, na-download naman po natin or nakukuha po natin yung mga certificates natin through the SPARTA portal, which is sparta.dap.edu.ph. Okay? Next, yung SMEs po natin, same as before, pag pinag-uusapan po natin yung course materials natin sa course bank. Next, sa linang po, no, since sir, di ba ita-transfer natin lahat nung course materials sa linang. Okay? So with this one, yung revisions po to some based po doon ito sa inyong feedback, doon po sa satisfaction rating na binigay natin doon sa mga video lectures natin, yun po ay ating i-improve. Okay? So, next, pag-usapan na po natin yung scholarship grants. Again, as of now po, okay, and effective November 14 po, we will no longer accept new scholars. Kumbaga po ito ay temporarily suspended po muna. So ito po yung ibig sabihin ng scholarship grants will effectively end on November 14. Okay? As I have mentioned, ita-transfer po natin lahat ng DSA courses natin sa Lina. Okay? So with this one, applicable po ito sa mga current scholars natin. Ibig sabihin po, no, lahat po ng current scholars natin na nag-enroll sa course bank, ita-transfer po natin sila sa Lina. However, sino-sino po ba itong mga qualified learners na maaaring matapos yung kani-kanilang pathway, whether main pathway yan or micro-specialization? Sila po yung mga learners na 1 to 2 courses na lamang po yung pending nila or ang kulang na lang po nila is yung capstone project for the main pathway. So sila po yung i-allow natin this year, ngayong taong 2022 po, para matapos yung kanilang pathway. Pero syempre po, we need to collect the data as well and your commitment. So if sa tingin nyo po, alam nyo po yung status ninyo sa course bank or sa pagtitake ng inyong mga SPARTA courses, kung sa tingin ninyo qualified po kayo dito para matapos ngayong taon, kung 1 to 2 courses na lang po kayo, again, you have to submit a letter of intent and commitment to graduate. Let us keep in mind, dalawang magkaibang dokumento po ito. Una, yung letter po, isi-send po namin yung detalye kung kanino po naka-address yung letter. Pangalawa po, yung commitment to graduate, meron po itong template na isi-share po namin sa inyo in the next coming days. And lastly, saan po ba isasubmit ang dalawang dokumento na ito? Okay, antayin po natin sa SPARTA Facebook page, that is Project SPARTA PH, yung form po, Google form po na kung saan dito po namin dito nyo po pwedeng isubmit itong dalawang forms na ito, yung letter tsaka yung commitment to graduate. So once we post as well, nandito po yung instructions, yung format, tsaka po yung template ng commitment to graduate. Okay po? So yun po muna, no? Kumbaga, yung current scholars po muna natin, yung i-allow natin matapos for this year. Okay? Later on, I know you do have a lot of questions in mind, pero sasagutin po natin yan maya-maya sa ating question and answer. Next po, we also have participants here who are our partners. Okay? So dito po, sa mga partners natin, maaari po yung mag-renew pa tayo ng ating partnership, no? Na kung saan kasi po yung current partnership natin sa mga current partners natin, yung MOU po natin ends on November 14 as well. But again, if you still intend to be partnered with Project SPARTA, particularly with DAP, you may signify your interest in renewal through email. So that's the email address of SPARTA and our partnerships officer respectively. Second is, of course, dahil nga may changes po tayo sa platform, masihingin po sana namin yung inyong mga commitment. Definitely, we should agree and reflect these changes in the provisions of the Memorandum of Understanding. And lastly, mas applicable po ito doon sa mga partners po natin na kung saan sila po yung may mga endorsed learners or scholars, preferably yung mga scholars na 1 to 2 courses na lang yung natitira or capstone project na lamang po. Okay? Next, on November 29, we will be conducting the third recognition ceremony. I know many of the learners are excited to be recognized as a main pathway or a micro-specialization pathway completer. And in that sense, we still have time. I know po na marami sa inyo po ang malapit ng matapos. And again, today is November 5. We are nearly approaching November 14. So kindly maximize those 9 days para po matapos yung inyong capstone or yung mga other courses that you haven't taken yet para po maisama kayo sa list of scholars which will be recognized on November 29 during the third SPARTA online recognition ceremony. In addition, we will also award the winners of the Hackathon and Open Data Challenge for Kawayan City. Next week, we will also send you or we will announce the finalists of these competitions, and definitely some of them will be exempted to the capstone project in case that they will be finalists in these competitions. So before we proceed with the Q&A, RV, I would like to turn this over to you and let's have a quick refresher or interactive game first. RV?
RV, you're on mute.
Okay. Okay, sorry for that. Thank you very much for the comprehensive discussion, Nico. And yes, we are going to conduct a very interactive game or activity today to be led by Mr. Arvil Mark Armedilia, our Sparta Events Officer. Hi, Arvil. Good afternoon.
Ayan, hello. Am I audible?
Yes, you're audible.
Ayan. I'll be sharing my screen. So if you have questions, hindi ito yung time na yun. So I will share a screen na. Ayan. So hello, good afternoon, everyone. Again, I'm Arvil. We will have an interactive game. So the title of the game is Excel with Excel. So yun. So ang mechanics, as you can ayan. So mechanics first, questions would be ayan, Excel related, Excel with Excel. Question most may differ per question. So kapag multiple choice, ilagay natin yung letter and yung answer. So kapag letter lang, hindi tatanggapin. Kapag answer lang din, hindi tatanggapin. So B72, mga ganun kunyari. So dapat ganon. So first person in Zoom, so mga Zoom participants lang, ating mga FB viewers, we're so sorry, mga nasa Zoom lang po ang kasali. To provide the correct answer after the signal. So magkakaroon ng signal, agad-agad ilalagay ang sagot sa chat box. So yung una after the signal na tamang sagot, magkakaroon ng point. Kada point may reward. Surprise ko anong reward, pero load cards yan. Ayan. So tapos may gimmick na kung sino may pinakamadaming points, may bonus reward on top of their winning points. So pero kapag may tie, like for example, may dalawang tao na naka 3 points, mapo-forfeit yung award. So ayun. So are we guys ready? By the way, ang ating signal to answer ay ito, nasa chat box. Ayan. Only reply when you see that. So, nasa chat box. So, ayan. So, let's go. First question is, ayan. What is modulus D2 and D2 A5? So, you may now answer. So, okay. May nakasagot na. Ang tamang sagot ay 5. Ang unang nakasagot ay si Miss Arlene Manalang. Congratulations, may 1 point na. At ang iyong nakuwang reward ay 100 globe na load. Ayan. So next question. Wait lang. Ang haba ng chat box. Next question. Ayan. Ito naman, what is modulus A5 D2? So wait lang, wait for the signal. So go. Ay, ang habang bilis. Ayan. Alright, may nakasagot na. Ulit, instructions, kapag multiple choice, ilagay ang letter at ang sagot. Again, ang winner ay si Miss Arlene Manalang. Congrats, Miss Arlene, on the lead with 2 points. So baka siya rin makakuha ng ating bonus award. Again, pag multiple choice, the letter and the answer. Like ito, B6, ganyan. Ganyan po ang format if multiple choice. So yun. So for the next question, ayan. In MS Excel, which cell reference would not change if moved or copied? So wait for the cue. Go. Ay, ang bilis. Wait lang. Ayan. So may nakasagot na po si Mr. Giancarlo Katakutan. Congratulations. So again, pag multiple choice po, letter and the answer, and chat after the signal. So yun, thank you. Next question. Ayan. What is what is that? So 1, 2, 3, go. Ayan, may nakasagot na. Saan na yung pinakataas? Wait lang. Saan yung pinakataas? Ayan. So ang tamang nakasagot ay si Miss Rowena Bardiaga. Medyo may error lang. Dapat ito ay 14. 14 dapat ng answer sa number 4. So, okay, moving on. Congratulations, Miss Rowena. Next question, question number 5. What is the average of those cells? So, you may now answer. Ayan, may nakasagot na. Ang bilis ni Sir Alan. Nagulat ako. Ang bilis ni Mr. Alan Arquilano. Bilis. So, yeah. So, ang tamang sagot ay 7.2. Bilis. Fairness. So, next question, question number 6. Congratulations, Sir Alan. Ayan, what is count if of those cell and cell ranges?
Count if A.
So, you may now answer. Wait lang, nasan yung signal? Ayan. So, medyo meron akong fault. So, pero still, we'll do after yung sign nung signal. So, ang nanalo, ang nakapasok within the signal is si Miss Janice Bagsit. Ang tamang sagot ay 3. Congratulations. So, next question. Wait lang. Ayan. What is this kapag kinompute? So you may now answer. Okay? May nakasagot na. At si Miss Arlene ang nauna, ang bilis. Si Miss Arlene with 3 points. So kaya pa makahabol ng ibang nanalo before kasi meron pa tayong 3 remaining questions. Ang tamang sagot ay D72. So ang bilis. So 8th question. Concatenate yung mga cells na chosen with stuff. So ayun. So you may now answer. Ay, kaya pala, okay. Okay. Ayan, may nakasagot na ng tama si Mr. Alan Arquilano ulit. So meron na siyang 2 points. Kaya mo pang habulin si Miss Arlene, Sir Alan. Basta makuha mo ng tama yung 9 and 10. So, yun. So, ang tamang sagot ay, ayan, small b, 5, capital E, capital F. So, yun. Yeah. So, question number 9, ayan, replace function. So, follow nyo lang instruction. So, you may now all guys answer. Ayan. Okay. Go guys. Ayan, may nakasagot na. Si D. Sir or Ma'am D, we will chat you kasi we will need your name. Hindi namin matitrace yung D lang. So yeah, so si D ang nanalo. Ang tamang sagot ay pantry. Ayan. So for our last question, na may bonus points kasi wala lang. So yun. Like question number 10, last question. Ayan, what is, yan. Yan, may nakasagot na. Si Mr. Oscar Vincent Silang. Ang tamang sagot ay mag-error siya kasi wala sa range yung hinahanap. So yon. So congratulations. Itong sa answer number 10 ay 300 compared sa 100 ng iba. So congratulations to Mr. Oscar. At ang nanalo with the most points is Miss Arlene Manalang with 3. So she gets an additional 300 on top of her 300. So we will contact everyone na nanalo. Thank you very much and ayun, enjoy the rest of the event. Thank you.
Thank you very much for a very fun and a very interactive game, Arville. So, na-refresh ba ang inyong Excel skills? And now, may I call back again on the virtual floor, Mr. Nico Vesperas, for the continuation of this discussion regarding Sparta's future directions and introduction to the Linang platform. Nico?
All right. Hi. Sorry. I think I just need to share my screen. Bakit ayaw? For a while. Just give me a few seconds, please. Just reloading the deck. Okay, for a while. Sorry. Okay, there you go. So I think we're done with this slide. Ayan, medyo. Ayan, so I just discussed earlier the future directions of Project Sparta. Again, the scholarship will be ending on November 14. But then again, for those scholars or learners who have 1 to 2 courses left or just the capstone project, again, maaari nyo po siyang ituloy hanggang end of this year. Pero po sa linang na po siya i-access and no longer in course bank. Now, we will proceed. No, I'm sure a lot of our participants right now have some questions in mind. So, bago pa po mag-start yung event namin, we have thought of possible questions po na maaari nyo pong maitanong sa amin. So, now, I will be presenting those questions and I will be providing answers as well. But again, if sa tingin nyo po may mga questions po ako na hindi pa nako-cover, you may freely chat them or ask through the chat box, and our team members will be addressing your questions or concerns. All right. So these are the questions. Okay. So number 1, I just enrolled a few weeks or a few months ago, as I still have a lot of courses to take. What will happen to me? As I mentioned earlier, di ba, we are giving chance to those onti na lang yung natitira, like 1 to 2 courses na lang and yung capstone na lang. Pero paano naman yung mga kakasimula lang? Like isang course pa lang or 2 courses pa lang yung natapos nila out of 7, out of 17. In that sense po, no, to address that, it is only the scholarship that is ending this November. However, the courses po will still continue. So yun nga, papatapusin po muna natin yung mga 1, 2 courses left. Pero yung mga mahigit pa po sa 3 yung hindi pa po natatapos, abangan ninyo po yung aming update sa early 2023 para po doon sa proseso kung aprobado din po ba yung ating extension para po matuloy nyo po yung inyong mga scholarship. Again, applicable lang po ito sa ating munang mga existing learners na mga marami pang courses na kailangan i-take, specifically 3 or more. Next, will you be eventually accepting new scholars in Linang, and can we still apply and enroll in SPARTA as paying students? Number 1, we are temporarily closing applications for enrollment as we are transitioning to a new platform. But eventually, we will accept new SPARTA learners. So once po na maging pulido na, mas okay na po yung Linang natin, that's the time po by early 2023, we will let your friends, your colleagues who are interested to enroll in SPARTA, that's the time po. Then, ayun po, and if ever that you are interested to become a SPARTA learner, lalo na po yung mga kakilala ninyo, kasi for sure, most of the participants right now are existing learners. So sa mga hindi po, we will open a form po para makita namin yung interest, kung marami pa bang interesadong mag-enroll ng mga DSA courses natin. So kapag planado na po lahat and final na po lahat, i-contact po namin kayo through your registered email doon po sa pre-registration form na isi-send po namin sa inyo in the future. Next question. Will our course progress in course bank be transferred to Linang? Let's say, for example, that I am on my last week for SP102, SP902, and 2 other courses and just waiting for some PGAs to be graded. Medyo kailangan po natin pakinggan ito ha, medyo critical po siya. Number 1, if ever po hindi nyo matapos yung isang course, let's say for example SP102, nakalahati nyo lang po siya. Okay? Dumating na ang November 14 at hindi nyo pa rin po natapos yung course, nasa kalagitnaan pa rin kayo ng SP102. In that case po, kung 2 courses na lang yung natitira ninyo, kunwari SP102 yon tsaka SP902 yon, kailangan ninyo pong ulitin yung SP102 sa Linang. Okay? I hope that is clear. Again, kapag nasa kalagitnaan po kayo ng isang course, di ba 2 course na lang po yung natitira ninyo, nasa kalagitnaan po kayo ng SP102 or nung isa po ninyong course. Kapag ito-transfer na po kayo sa Linang, again, kailangan ninyo pong ulitin yung SP102. What can we conclude here or what can we recommend here? Okay? Kung mayroon po kayong mga courses right now na sa tingin ninyo nasa gitna na kayo or nasimulan nyo nang i-take yung courses, we are highly encouraging you to finish these courses now through Course Bank on or before November 14, 2022. Meron na lang po tayong 9 days na natitira. Okay? So for pending concerns on peer-graded assessments, yun po yung PGA, we are already coordinating with Course Bank to resolve some of the issues, no? But yun po, we are closely working on them na with them. Next question. What if my goal is to finish a micro-specialization pathway and not the main one? Will I still be accommodated in Linang if I have 1 to 2 pending courses in micro-specialization pathways? Okay? The answer here is yes. Kung enrolled ka po sa main pathway or even in a micro-specialization pathway, basta po 1 or 2 courses na lang po yung natitira ninyo, you will be accommodated po sa Linang para matapos nyo po yung micro-specialization ninyo ngayong taon. And again, same process po sa na-mention ko kanina. You will submit a letter of intent and commitment to graduate, which has a template via the form that we will release anytime soon. Next question. If our letter of intent is approved, how much time do we need to finish the pathways? As mentioned earlier, you have until the whole or the remaining months or days of 2022 to finish your courses. Again, applicable po ito sa mga learners na may natitirang 1 to 2 courses left or capstone project, both main pathway and micro-specialization pathway. I-onboard po namin kayo sa Linang and you have time until the 31st of December to finish your pathway. Will there be a step-by-step process for Linang application? As mentioned earlier, ang pagkakaiba po ng Linang sa course bank, si Linang po kasi is hindi siya nag-allow ng self-enrollment. Kung baga, if my team or our team is the one managing the platform or the Linang platform, okay, kami po yung mag-onboard sa inyo. Kumbaga, kami po yung mag-i-enroll sa inyo doon sa platform. And yung magiging basihan po namin dito na listahan ay yung mga nag-submit po ng letter of intent at commitment to graduate doon po sa form na i-release namin. After that, we will validate kung tama nga ba na 1 to 2 courses na lang ang natitira ninyo or ang capstone project na lang for the main pathway. Next, will there be consequences if we don't finish the pathways in the given time? Again, there may not be direct consequences right now. However, this may affect your future eligibility for other scholarships, particularly those provided by the government. Okay, next, the peer grading aspect of assignments consume too much time. Will these methods still be used in the Linang platform? Yes, pero again, we have seen yung mga naging challenges natin before. Thus, we will add more measures para po ma-ensure na mag-gradean po yung inyong mga assessments on time. Next, since SPARTA will be transferred to Linang, does that mean that the scholarship grant will no longer be under DOST but will be given by the DAP? It depends. If a scholarship grant is funded by DOST, which we are still waiting for extension, then it will be under DOST. But we are also exploring other grants or sponsors that would provide free scholarship to the general public or to our existing scholars. Again, maaari pong mangyari yun. Okay? Next, is there a possibility for the project to be extended for another year? If yes, would you still provide scholarship grants? Or would learners have to pay for the courses? Okay? So, answers. The possibility of extension exists. Okay? But ang ina-allow lang po muna namin ay yung mga existing learners po natin. This year, yung mga 1 to 2 courses ang natitira at capstone. Then hopefully by early 2023, we will give instructions to those scholars na 3 pa mahigit yung mga kailangan na courses. Next, new learners may be asked to pay to take the courses unless there will be grants or budget po na masesecure ang DAP for Project Sparta. Okay? Wala pong amount pa if ever magiging paid siya in the next year. However, may baseline naman po tayo, no? Kasi yung mga Filipinos natin outside the Philippines na nagtitake ng Sparta, they are paying 1,000 pesos. So baka that's a good baseline po. How will we receive the certificates? Again, no, nung mga nakaraang buwan, ginamit na po natin yung Sparta portal. That is sparta.dap.edu.ph na kung saan doon nyo po masisecure yung inyong mga certificates kapag umattend po kayo ng live course sessions before. In the case of the Linang platform, pag nakuha nyo na po or natapos nyo na po yung courses ninyo, yung capstone ninyo, or yung buong pathway ninyo, pag na-confirm na po sa Linang yun, you will be able to secure your certificates through the Sparta portal. That's sparta.dap.edu.ph. What if I was not able to enroll into the course in CourseBank before the deadline? Will I still be able to get my certificates from the live sessions? Again, ang concern po dito is, di ba nag-conduct po tayo ng various live course sessions. May mga nag-attend po sa atin ng mga more or less 20 scholars na kung saan hindi pa po sila enrolled sa CourseBank, which is a requirement. Again, hindi naman po mahirap mag-enroll sa CourseBank ngayon. Okay? Hindi naman po mahirap and maaari nyo na pong gawin yan ngayon hanggang November 14 kasi bukas pa rin naman po ang application or enrollment ng Sparta Scholarship sa CourseBank. Yun lang naman po yung kailangan nyo gawin. Mag-enroll doon sa course. Kapag na-verify na po namin yung inyong enrollment sa CourseBank, we will be able to upload your certificate sa Sparta portal. That is sparta.dap.edu.ph. Okay? If you don't have the access to the courses, enroll even under audit mode. Kung sakaling may mga case-to-case concerns, okay, you may email us at sparta@dap.edu.ph. Kung direct naman siya sa CourseBank, you have learn@coursebank.ph. Can we still access the course materials for free once it's transferred? Yes, we will be transferring all the contents, all the courses to Lina. But then again, this year, ang magkakaroon lang po ng courses, access sa courses and ma-enroll yung mga 1 to 2 courses ang natitira or ang capstone. What about the institutional partners? What shall we do if we want to continue our partnership? I have already mentioned this earlier. Mag-email or mag-signify na po tayo ng interest or request natin via the email posted on the screen. Okay? Next, isa po sa mga return service agreement ng isang pagiging Sparta scholar is to stay in the Philippines for 6 months. Okay? So yung mga graduates po natin, kahit po yung mga gagraduate sa atin ng December 31, okay, you are required to render at least 6 months sa Philippines. All you need to do, basta nandito ka lang sa Pilipinas. You can work anywhere, you can stay at your work so long as it is in the Philippines. Okay? So yung mga scholars naman po na nag-withdraw ng kanilang mga scholarship, you are no longer required to render your return service agreement. Next, another concern, when will the graduates receive their badges and medals? We will be updating our portal and working with our developers para po ma-issue namin yung mga badges ng mga graduates namin and yung mga mananalo sa Hackathon and Open Data Challenge for Kawayan City. Yung sa mga medals naman po, yung first 1,000 main pathway graduates lamang po ang makaka-receive nito. Again, medyo costly po kasi if ipapadeliver po namin sa inyo house to house. So in this sense, mag-a-announce po kami kung saan nyo pong pwedeng i-claim yung inyong medals and kung paano po tayo makakapag-secure ng appointment. But most probably, no? Pwede nyo po itong i-claim sa DAP Pasig. Okay po, pero further details will be announced. Again, i-follow nyo lang po yung aming Facebook page, which is Project Sparta PH. Next, what will happen to Course Bank account once the project is transferred to Linang? We know that yung Course Bank, hindi lang naman Sparta DSA courses ang hina-house niya. Ang Course Bank din, nag-o-offer siya ng iba't ibang courses na sarili nilang gawa, or meron din naman silang mga courses na gawa ng ibang agency which they are offering to the public. So in that sense, maaari nyo naman pong i-retain yung inyong course bank accounts. But in case na gusto nyo nang iburahin, kasi nga gusto nyo mag-focus lang sa Sparta, you may also request to course bank. Again, the email of course bank is learn@coursebank.ph. What specifications of laptop or gadget do you recommend for Sparta courses under Lina? Dito naman po, no, yung mga more advanced courses, yung mga may relative na sa Python, advanced Excel, that's the time we recommend you to use, a probably higher specs of laptop, probably minimum of i3. But then again, yung Linang po kasi we are working out na maging accessible siya via mobile. Lalo na yung mga lectures, mga course materials para po ma-access nyo pa rin siya anytime. How do we claim CPD equivalency for our completed pathways? I have applied but PRC has not still acknowledged my request. Kunwari po, nakatapos na po kayo ng course or ng isang buong micro-specialization or pathway, again, kinakailangan nyo po kaming i-inform. Okay? I-inform nyo po kami through a form po na ipapadala din po namin sa inyong email or sa aming social media page para po maipasa namin yung inyong pangalan sa Professional Regulation Commission or PRC para po ma-certify nila yung inyong CPD points at mabigyan. Okay po? So yun po yung ating mga FAQs, and later on we will be having an open forum which will discuss further concerns and mas ma-address po natin yung mga binabato nyo pong mga questions sa chat. And don't worry po kung hindi pa po kayo nasagot, our team is closely monitoring and recording all these questions, and inihahanda na po namin yung mga sagot dito sa mga tanong na ito later for the open forum. I hope I made a clear discussion on the future directions of the project. Maraming salamat po, isang karangalan po na makasama kayo ngayong Sabado. RV, back to you.
Thank you, Nico, for enlightening us and informing us regarding the future of Sparta. To our learners, again, as Nico has stated, we will have an open forum with our speakers later to answer your questions. Also, we are reminding you to kindly mute your audio and please stay respectful in the chat box. And now for the next segment, we will hear a few words of encouragement and motivation from one of our Sparta subject matter experts. Let us welcome on the virtual floor the head of data science of Boom AI, Mr. Xavier M. Puspus. Good afternoon, Sir Xavier.
Hello, good afternoon. Sorry, let me just, inadjust ko na yung slides. Ay, yung screen. Alright, I guess, start na tayo no deep learning pala, joke lang. But we'll be discussing sort of how we want to be able to push forward in terms of being able to surpass all of these obstacles. And I understand this migration is going to be extremely difficult for everyone, not just for Sparta, not just for the students, but really for everyone involved. So it's really like a pivotal moment right now, and I guess I'm here to not necessarily motivate everyone to move to Linang, but really to move forward in learning. I prepared this slide, or at least these set of slides, bearing in mind, how do we become data scientists? But really, I found out when I was building this that we can actually translate this to, how do you become a data professional? So wala tayong sound trip ngayon, no? Medyo ano tayo, nagipit tayo sa oras para mag-sound trip kasi wala tayong 4 na oras na discussion. But really what I wanna be able to ask you here in this chat, at least, no, if you wanna share, let's spend a few moments or a few seconds at least. What comes into mind when you hear the words data scientist? Because really right now, it's kind of like what everybody wants to be, right? Like everyone is just trying to get into data, learning Excel, learning R, Python, machine learning, in order to become a data scientist in some way, shape, or form, right? So I'm seeing a lot of answers here, like predictive models, sexiest career of 21st century, math and more math, analysis, math and stats, ability to create models, trends, handling information and managing them. That's all really well and good, right? Pretty accurate, I would say. Answering something wrong, but more right. Agree, actually, because all models are wrong. But really, some would argue, and especially if you work with companies that are, abroad or of a foreign origin, they would argue that a data scientist is a data analyst working in the Silicon Valley. So that already ultimately means none of us can be data scientists unless we work for the Silicon Valley, right? But later on, I beg to differ. We want to be able to dice that up. But also, it's really important, as I'm seeing in the chat box here, right? Like we saw a lot of maths and stats. And really, that's kind of, those are the topics that people avoid when they're getting into data. What people want to do, at least what I've seen, is what people would like or what people receive better is how can I train a machine learning model, a deep learning model as fast as I can with as little barrier to entry as I can. And so, when I'm presented, or at least when a student is presented machine learning in a pizza box, obviously it's very well received, but underneath the hood, with maths and linear algebra and calculus, then that's where people go away, I guess. And so for those who have attended my class, I have at least taught 4 live sessions and I have 1 self-paced course on SQL. My last course was on deep learning and machine learning, the last 2 at least. You can attest to the fact that you left the class, even if you had 0 knowledge about Python, you left learning how to do correlation plots, use sklearn, at least read documentation, use PyTorch, NumPy, Pandas, Matplotlib, and all necessary packages to wrangle data. Oh, fast AI too as well, yeah. And that really, I think, is sort of what encompasses a data scientist. And indeed, it really is, and I would agree, it is the sexiest job of the century with a lot of caveats, right? It is not because it is the highest paid. I would highly suggest we do away with, going into data science just with pay. I can tell you right now, if you went into management consulting as a fresh grad, 0 experience, out of college, they would pay you 100 to 150K a month in pesos. A data scientist will probably get like 30 to 40 to 50K on a fresh grad, as a fresh grad, right? 60K if you're lucky. And you're only really gonna get 150, 160, 200K if you're like a senior data scientist with 5-6 years experience. Obviously, that's gonna be different for a lot of people, but there's really a lot of aspects into how you would say that a job is sexy, right? But really, indeed, when you say data scientist, people gravitate to AI, at least especially the executives, right? Like, oh, I have a data scientist that's built AI. When in fact, it's really just a lot of if-else under the hood. So there's really a lot of buzzwords flying out there, but underneath it all, it's all just programming, it's all just math. And ultimately, what I want to really discuss is there's really a lot of things that have to come into play before you can call yourself a data scientist, or at least before you can say that you are actually doing data science. So there's really three major things. You know, you need the first one, the top one in this diagram is the domain and business knowledge. There's really no escape. That's probably the only topic that there will be no escape. Like business or domain knowledge could be a social impact, could be business, revenue generating, or nonprofit. That has to come first. Understanding why you're doing something is the most important part. And then mix that with the two other base foundation, which is math and stats and computer science. That's what really builds sort of the overall holistic view of a data scientist. And then when you merge two different aspects, you get, software development for computer science and domain. You get traditional research when you're focused on domain and math and stats. And then lastly, our ultimate favorite to learn would be the mixture of computer science and math and stats, which is machine learning. And again, I'd like to emphasize that underneath it all, we tend to forget the foundations, which is the math and stats. Heck, even lately, we're more focused on deep learning because right now we can clone voices, we can generate art using AI, you can make them talk for you, you can build chatbots. So even machine learning is being left in the dust, right? But again, ultimately, there's really a lot of stuff that has to go on, especially when you're talking about data science and really just ultimately just the data life cycle itself. So we have at the top again to be business understanding, data mining, data cleaning, data exploration, feature engineering, predictive modeling, and data visualization. Just from this circle alone, again, it's not mine, you can already see that there's a lot of courses in Sparta that fall under each one, if not a mixture of all of it or some of it, right? So data science isn't just about machine learning, math, and stats. It's really business understanding, data cleaning, exploration, visualization. And so I'm here right now to summarize all of this in a longer way. So it's not a summarize, it's not a summary, I guess. It's more of a digression. I'd like to give you 8 tips to becoming a data scientist, but more so, a data professional. The first step, and this is, I guess I'm not just biased, but this is overall agreement with all of the data professionals I've worked with here in the country and abroad. Learn SQL. If you were to start somewhere in your data journey, obviously Excel would have been the really great place to be, but with the data, with the advent of having 8 hexabytes of data every 2 days, then it'll be really difficult for us to be able to wrangle data at the volume or the scale that we want. And so SQL is going to be the right tool to start. So this meme is pretty gas-gas na, no? Ang dami nang nakita ng meme na to siguro. But really what I want to focus here is, I'm still this monkey, right? So medyo makaitsura kami. Ish. Paano ko ba ito gayahin? Mahirap siya gayahin. Pero really, that's kind of my life. No? SQL is always going to be there, even if we're not doing machine learning or deep learning. And for me, you really need to be able to pick up a coding language, a programming language. Again, Excel is not going to go away. So might as well learn it, right? It's going to be like your baseline. It's going to be like breathing if you want to go into data work. But pick a language. Pick something that you're very much biased towards. Personally, I pick Python, even if I can code in all of these and R and so much more. But di kami magkaitsura, no? Kahit mag-smile pa ako. Mahirap. But still, it's really an easier language for us to pick up. And also, if you haven't noticed, when you're wrangling so much data, then it becomes your crush. No? Hindi na nagre-respond sa mga nakaka-relate. Especially when you have like 1 million rows or more, or you have 700 megabytes. I think it starts to slow down at 700, 800. Yan, namin sasaktan sa chat. Bahala kayo. And also, a lot of people would like to pretend that Excel is big data. I'm not trying to discount Excel here. Excel is going to be your air. You breathe it. It is a major requirement. No one can live without it. Google Sheets, Excel, but still it's not going to be able to handle big data. So again, for me, especially the two major languages in data wrangling and data science, I wouldn't say data engineering. There's a lot more languages for data engineering like Spark, Scala, blah blah blah. Pick a language you're comfortable with, and then run with it. Because there's going to be a lot of companies that are biased towards one or the other. Pick one, and the other will follow. Actually, so it's okay. Like if you pick R, but the company you want to work for, like Spotify, for example, they use Python a lot. Airbnb uses Python and R. And so they can interchange if you get the logic down. Step two, I'd like to emphasize being able to communicate your thoughts and your processes. If you're able to communicate it well, then you won't be this guy, right? You won't have such bad communication. And why is it such a high priority in the steps? Well, that's really because data science in communication is all about explaining your work. You have a really, really good base of what you might call, insights from data. You spent 6 months trying to make sense of all of the 5 terabytes of data in 20 hard drives in 400 Excel sheets. But you lack the communication skills to be able to explain your work. That's going to be really hard because that's going to put all of your effort to waste. And I'd like to also, I think, pause here and identify that this is a gap in the SPARTA courses. We don't have one for communication. At least it's also going to be really hard because how are you going to check if people are communicating? Well, in fact, majority of the interviews that I've done, it's really all about being able to explain your work, explain your experience. You have, for example, you've taken all of my courses in Sparta, in Course Bank, and more. You've taken 20, but you're not able to communicate the impact or the work that you've done. How then will your hiring recruiter, hiring manager be able to understand that, yeah, I can code Python in my sleep now? Right. A lot of us are going to have stage fright. And so this here can be practiced out. Again, this is a gap that a lot of courses, a lot of at least online courses can't address. For the most obvious reason, you don't have an instructor staring at you while you talk. So this is something you can practice in a mirror or through Zoom. And in fact, this is also what I do almost before a speaking engagement. I always practice against myself. Because this is something you can practice out. And obviously, I almost wasn't able to mention the entire idea of this slide because it was too funny, but practice really makes perfect. The third step of 8 is to teach others. And this is going to be very dangerous, right? Because you can't just teach a topic that you've learned over 4 hours because your professor who was only sound tripping OPM taught you how to use fast AI and now you think you know deep learning. Right? It's very dangerous. I get it. But the fact of the matter is being able to teach a concept, being able to relay information allows you to even correct yourself and be like, oh yeah, I forgot. This is how it should have been done. Then now I'm teaching it to somebody else. Secondly, you have a secondary learning wherein you're able to learn patience. Especially if your students are like, please open collab. Sir, pwedeng hindi collab. Like, okay, bala. And then later on, collab ang pinapasubmit. Patience really is something that you learn every day. And being in a position to teach really allows you to hone that skill. And in fact, in teaching others, we teach ourselves, not just because we're able to realize our mistakes, but because we can and we are able to communicate and we're able to articulate and we're able to digest what we just learned when we teach others. Bias ka pa, bahala ka dyan. Test instructor ka. Step 4, don't worry about learning everything. This is going to be a very important. We're halfway in the steps now, so don't worry. This is going to be a very important idea because there's probably way too many specializations. There's like 200 plus courses on Course Bank. Don't worry about learning everything. Because even up until now, and I was discussing this with a junior data scientist I had in my team, most of the time, I personally still don't know what I'm doing, right? I'm still at that point where, okay, now I've built an AI. I still don't know what I'm doing. And that's really because majority of us as well kind of fall in different spots of this curve, this this idea called the Dunning-Kruger curve, where the y-axis is your confidence. So basically, obviously, 0 is your confidence, 100 is 100% confident. You walk around like you have a GPU in your brain or whatever. And then the x-axis is from none to expert. So basically based on experience. So this is how Dunning-Kruger looks like. And identify for me where you might fall in. You can chat in the chat box if you want, but try to figure out where you might be in this Dunning-Kruger curve. That will really help you understand sort of where you might want improvement, or if you really don't want improvement. So the first dot here from the left or wherever the right, if your screen is flipped. If you have a lot more confidence but little competence, you feel like you know everything. You feel like you're able to understand, build fast AI. Oh, because my professor taught me how to build deep learning models without coding. So I feel like I know everything. My confidence is 1,000,000%. But try to understand that in terms of experience and competence, this is something that we need to be able to fix as well. But then as you gain experience, and you see that there's a lot more complication, like, oh, okay, I have to understand TensorFlow and blah, blah, blah when you're doing deep learning. Then it gets a little bit more complicated and your confidence goes down. You get to the middle, you have like 2 to 3 years experience. Get to the point where I don't understand anything. But as it goes, as you go further in your career in data, things are going to start making sense, but you're never going to reach the same level of confidence you had before. Trust me, it's complicated. I swear, up until now, I still have no idea. Like, it's still pretty complicated right now. Like, there's technology right now that can literally clone your entire being, and I'm not in any position to be able to do that myself, right? And that's kind of why you work with a team. You always upskill yourself. You spend weekends. You spend the rest of your weekdays. So being able to identify yourself throughout this graph will really help you internalize, where can I improve? Can I improve in confidence? Can I improve in experience? Because I've been through this. My first experience with machine learning, even before machine learning was a thing, was I was working for a power company. Itago natin sa pangalang Aboitiz Power. No? We were doing like classification and clustering and all that. And I didn't even understand them, but I felt so powerful because I thought I knew everything, because I can cluster profiles of customers for their power usage, and now I can do pricing models and blah, blah, blah. But I didn't understand a thing. And so, as the experience went on and now going to my 8th year as a data scientist, things are getting a little bit complicated. And looking back, I feel like I've gone through all of the stages from the 1,000,000% confidence, and up until now, I still haven't reached back the 100% confidence. And so, being able to identify that is going to be really useful. And so, step 4 really is learn just a little bit, then get coding on real projects like your hackathon or any other internships that you might get your hands on. Any projects, especially those that are done by Cyrillytics, done by DAP, done by SPARTA. Join them, even if you don't win. As long as you're able to apply your Excel work, your Python work, your R work, it's all good. It's all experience. Step 5 is the most underrated and also a course that we really all need. Google is your friend. Because a lot of the questions that I get, we can Google. The only people, and let me tell you this, because I've worked with people from Google, the iBooks head of data science is a personal friend of mine. the only people who aren't allowed to Google are the people who work at Google, because their philosophy is if Google doesn't work, that's us. We should be able to work. We are the last line of defense. So the only people who aren't allowed to copy paste from Google are the people who work at Google. Well, at least that's what he said, right? And so Googling is really a skill that's never taught in school. And we all have access to Google. What really differentiates a really great Googler, like not a Googler, not the person who works for Google, but the person who Googles, is curiosity. To what extremes do you really want to go in order for you to identify, to understand, DuckDuckGo, to understand, your problem and your bug. And so I wanna be able to summarize that curiosity part in these sentences, right? Because it's pretty much a ladder at this point. Curiosity for emotion drives empathy. Curiosity for ideas drives imagination. Curiosity for solutions drive creativity. This is your hackathon speaking, right? Curiosity for influence drives communication. And finally, curiosity for results drive the leadership. Again, this is not for me. This is not from me, but it's a pretty great set of information, I would say. Because without curiosity, then it's going to be really hard for us to push forward with even, with all of this transition from course bank to lean now. If you're not curious or gritty enough. When people also ask, how I personally code, up until yesterday, I've still been copy pasting code from Stack Overflow. Up until now, and I work for like a Silicon Slopes company. I work for a multi-million-dollar company with $1 billion client. And I'm still copy pasting code from Stack Overflow. Because it's really your lifeline. It's really, where developers live. With Elon Musk's purchase of Twitter, there's a lot of talk about, hey, we're gonna have like at least maybe a financial barrier before you get a blue check mark. There are even jokes out there where if Elon Musk buys Stack Overflow, we're all doomed. We're all going back to the dark ages if they put a sort of a financial barrier between the answers. Because it's really our best friend. Even if you're not a data person, even if you're doing software engineering, or even you're just starting off. Step 6, this is your, how many are we right now? We are 294. We had 300 this morning. Find your community. It's very easy to find data science communities out there right now because there's a lot of people who pretend to be data scientists. That's fine. Just be with them or be with whoever you can get your hands with, get their ideas. Everything's open source right now, even ideas, even tools, even models are going open source. So being able to find those data science communities, especially this one that we have right now here, at least in this call, would greatly affect especially our network and our professional or career growth. Step 7, we're almost there. Don't be afraid to try and fail. This is really kind of like the last sort of thing that people would need to internalize. Because even for course bank right now, you are very afraid to fail in course bank, right? You're very afraid to fail because you're not going to get a certificate. This is the gap where your education is trying to stop you from learning things other than succeeding. Because in failure, that's really where you find the success. I don't know if you internalize that enough, but even in machine learning, that's kind of why you keep retraining, keep trying, because that's life, right? Life is like programming. Life is like machine learning. You don't stop until it works the way you want it. Resilience is for the weak. I know Philippines is really, you would say, is a country for the resilient. Screw that, right? Like let's not stop until it works the way we want it. That's kind of why some of us are doing data, right, for the social good. And so as you can see here, even if your code doesn't work and you don't know why, you have to keep trying. If the code works and you still don't know why, you still kind of have to keep trying because you kind of need to know why it's working. Same goes for your life. And here, even, right, like success happens when you didn't give up. Even if you keep trying, even if you've had to try way too many times. My first stint, at least my first job search out of college, it took me around 40 to 50 applications to get into Aboitiz, to get into my first job. And even in Aboitiz, they had 100 applicants. I was at the bottom of their pile. I had the greatest opportunity to speak with their HR then. They told me it was so random where they picked out my profile. And then, because I was at the bottom of the pile, who's this cum laude? No organization, just knows Python, who wants to apply for one of the biggest companies in the entire country. And they picked me. And very fortunately, and obviously in God's will, I got in. But imagine, I've had to go through so much, but I didn't stop trying, right? And that's how I got into my first job. So that really tells you the only way that you fail is if you stop trying. That's basically my point. And lastly, have fun. Really, that's kind of the overall overarching end to this message. If you're not having fun, it's going to be so hard for you to move forward. Ignore all of the other steps, SQL, Googling everything, Python, picking a language, communication. Ignore all of them. If you're not having fun, you might as well go back to playing Mobile Legends. Lapit na akong maabot ulit yung mythical, no? Pero really having fun is going to be really your best way forward. And you can also have fun when you're joining hackathons. And hackathons don't have to be extremely complicated, and they don't have to be, after you finish 20, 30 courses. Because some hackathons have been won just with prints. And I swear, these things happen. Like you could just sell it as we used machine learning to greet the user with a personalized message, and it was just a print. This is a meme, but it's pretty true. And they won like thousands of dollars. Do you know what I mean about communication? And let's not kid ourselves. Data science is difficult and highly technical. And being in a data track or a data profession, even if you're not doing calculus, even if you're not doing linear algebra and statistics, being able to extract information for probabilities and inferencing, doing prescriptive analytics, they're still pretty hard. You still need a lot of divisions and multiplications. So it's really a very specific set of skills. So let's not kid ourselves. We can't do data without a little bit of, if not a lot of, technical know-how. And also don't forget that when you complete online courses like this, when you complete online courses like SPARTA or Linang later on, please remember that it will not be enough for you to get a job in the field. It will never be enough. I'm going to tell you that right now. Even if you finish the entire 200 plus courses of CourseBank, you go to Coursera and finish the other 1,000, you're never going to get a decent job in the field unless you do the other steps. Like build a community, communicate, learn public speaking, having fun, competing in hackathons, building real projects, not being afraid to fail. Those types of things need to go hand in hand with your online learning. And I know that right now, at this moment, for those who are having a hard time, everything is hard. Everything is hard before it becomes easy. So you might as well enjoy the journey. So before I end, I'd like to summarize with all of the keys here. Please learn SQL. Communication is key. Teach others. And then don't worry about everything. Don't worry about learning everything. Actually, don't worry about everything too. Google is your friend. Find your community. Don't be afraid to fail. And lastly, have fun. Thank you so much for your time. And I'll see you guys around, I guess.
Okay, so thank you very much for a very encouraging presentation, Sir Xavier. And now we are moving towards our open forum. So may I call back again our previous speakers, Sir Nico, Miss Pamela, and Sir Xavier for our Q&A portion. Okay. So before we enter a Q&A portion pala, we have a 5-minute break. So I'm sorry for that. So now I know that what we heard so far is quite a lot of information. So let's process all of that first. And if you have any further questions regarding the earlier presentations, just keep them in mind and then you can send them later during our question and answer portion. So we'll have our 5-minute break and we'll be back at around 3:37. See you. Okay, so we're back. I hope nakapagkape na po kayo, nakapag-short merienda. Okay na po? Okay, so welcome back everyone. I hope we all feel refreshed and ready for more information via our question and answer portion. So may I now call back again our speakers, Mr. Nico Vesperas, Ms. Donna Pamela Gonzalez, and Mr. Xavier Puspus for our open forum. Again, to our scholars, if you have questions that you would like to raise that were not covered in the earlier discussions, you can send them through our chat box. We're also live on YouTube and Facebook, so you can send in your requests there. And the Sparta team is actually collecting them in a sheet where we can ask that to our speakers. Okay, so for our first question, okay, so actually, this is for Sir Xavier first. So it's from Mark Joseph, from Jeffon Akyangan from Zoom. So according to him, data science versus data analytics versus web developer. So what's the difference daw po, sir, which is better among the three?
There's
Sorry
no
for that.
better. Depends on your interest. I think I'm pretty biased to data science only because I guess the profession puts food on my table. But a lot of the people I've talked to, especially those who are career shifters, uh, I've talked to somebody who started as a web dev or at least a software engineer in general. They found data to be a little bit more interesting when you hitch it with code. So it's kind of like they're able to apply their programming skills to data. And since they had the right level of curiosity, and they have the right level of grit, they're able to power forward into the data profession. And I think the question, kanina, that I haven't addressed yet is the data analytics versus data science, right?
Yes, sir.
So I would say there's a lot of definitions out there that might, confuse a lot of us when we're trying to differentiate. But for me, I would say the most basic definition would be that the data scientists really want to understand data through the scientific framework. So as you noticed, I didn't say things like, oh, they use deep learning, machine learning. No, no. You don't have to. You just need to be able to understand, the process of starting with hypothesis testing, gathering data, gathering insights, and then being able to provide conclusions based on the data. Whereas the data analytics would argue that they use as completely separate, not really completely separate, but a different framework in terms of understanding what's in the data. The flip side of that story is a lot of companies sort of confuse both as well. And they might define data science as people who know machine learning and data analysts as those who don't know machine learning. And so that's the reality, honestly. So if you go into the professional world, you would see data analysts who focus solely on SQL and Excel and Google Sheets. And then your data scientists are training machine learning models. I think that hopefully that helps clarify or differentiate.
Thank you, Sir Xavier. And now, I think we have follow-up questions here or other questions from our learners. So I'm checking the job requirements for data scientists, and usually they prefer someone who has a master's on data science. What's your take though on this? From Mark Joseph Villanueva.
And I really agree, no, especially when you're getting into some of those gigantic corporations, I would say. A master's degree would really be easy for a human resource or a recruiter to defend as a credential. Back even when I started on my 0th year as a data scientist, we were building models still. We were training the models, but the client-facing resource that we had a master's in economics, not even in data science or in statistics, had a master's in economics just because they needed somebody to show to the clients that, this person is credible because he has a master's. That's just real talk now. That's the fact of the matter. And so if you really just want, if you're just in it for the skill, go for Coursera and CourseBank and Linang later on and YouTube University or Google. But if you're going into a lot of these gigantic corporations, a master's might be required. However, the flip side there is the only way you can circumvent that again is to create practical projects. Either do internships, win hackathons, win all of them, join all of them. If you can't win all of them, you've learned from them. Create personal projects, create your portfolio. That's really your sort of your second route towards a profession in a reputable company.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. And now we will move on to some of the questions for our two DPMs, Ms. Pamela and Mr. Nico Vesperas. But again, there are some questions that I'm seeing here regarding the delays on PGAs or peer graded assessments on some of our courses. So if you're experiencing delays on that, you can just email us at sparta@edu.ph, and then CC learn at coursebank.ph so that we can attend your concerns. Actually, some of the delays have already been forwarded to our curriculum team, and we're just waiting for their assessment to that. Okay. So for Miss Pam and Nico, so the question is from Marife Baladad. Can the DAP team give us the final assessment before transferring to Linang? Because I have not yet received the certificates of the live sessions of my major courses as attended. Nauna pa daw po ang certificates for elective courses than the live sessions. Ms. Pam?
Yes. Hi, RV. So your question is more on the certificate, right?
Yes, Miss.
Okay. For the certificates, nauna yung live sessions, no? We are validating kasi, diba, if you pass the courses by live sessions, remember one of the things that you have to consider is that did you submit the forms? If you did you enroll in the course? Then did you actually pass the course? Diba may questions done? Did you pass it? Did you submit what is needed to be submitted? And lastly, did you enroll or did you register in the portal? That is important because we cannot upload your certificates if you are not in the portal. So we need you to register using your CourseBank email or any Google-based email. Then if you have just registered, send us an email so that we would know where to upload your certificates. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Pam. And again, just reiterating, just check the guidelines on our social media pages because it is already there and it is pinned on our Facebook page. I have a question here about PGA and capstone until November 14th, since they understand that the scholarship and the courses are ending on November 14th at CourseBank. So what if they submitted daw po the final capstone but still pending for grading in PGA until November 14th? Should these learners be required to fill out the request extension form?
Sige, mukhang ako rin nasasagot niyan. Sorry, I couldn't open my video. Alam niyo naman ang ulan, kung umuulan sa inyo, yes, the rain is causing my internet issues. Anyway, we are looking into that. We're gonna work with CourseBank para yung mga pending assessments kasi I understand maraming nang tapos na sa PGAs and yet nakapending pa rin. So we'll work, but rest assured, we will resolve that. And if you think that this is the last thing that you have to do or last course bago kayo or sa requirements nyo to be qualified for Linang, then I would suggest, kasi check pa rin naman namin when you submit your letter of intent and commitment, we'll still check if you actually have passed all the courses para sure that and you're really committed to do that. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Pam. Okay, so we still have a few questions here. Ito for Sir Xavier, from Louis daw po, Angel, is it late for me to change career from a 12 years engineering experience in the engineering to data scientist? My dream is program and suddenly went to a different field. Ano daw po, sir?
If you think you're too late, then you're too late. Yun yung answer ko dun. The only limitation is yourself. So if you already thought that you're too late, then you're already too late. The only barrier to entry that I saw people who are shifting from a highly experienced field, like 20 years, ganyan, is your pride. Because do you want to start as a junior again after 20 years working, right? So it's really up to you. That's not a question I can answer. That's not a question I can suggest an answer towards, because I haven't even broken the 20-year work experience, obviously. So I wouldn't know. But I can attest to the pride, right? For me, I'd be like, okay, I'm gonna start working for this, I don't know, 24-year-old CEO. No way, because I just want to do data science. Like, really depends on you. So, but if you're in it for the prospect of salary only, then this is not the right transition for you. Because I've seen developers who earn more than me before, and they had less experience. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's a bunch more other work that you can do that can help you gain more money. Some of us are really in this because we enjoy the work. Because if people were in it for the money, if all of us were in it for the money, I would say it'd be really hard for us to be able to create projects like Sparta. I would say, right? Like somebody like Doc Pligot, if he was in it just for the money, he wouldn't pioneer this entire project.
Thank you, Sir Xavier. So actually, oo nga po, na parang if that's your mindset that it's too late, then it's already too late. So we just take the plunge and explore and see where it can get you. Okay, so now for Miss Pam and Nico. What if daw po, those who are planning to shift, say they already finished a pathway via Linang, will they still be able to change or enroll in another pathway via that platform?
Okay. Hey, or finished a course, the pathways in course bank. Can they continue in Linang, correct?
Yes, Miss.
Um, yes. But as our priority for now, for this transition, would be those who are finishing up who only have 1 to 2 courses remaining or their capstone. The 1 to 2 courses are from their elective or 4 courses and capstone. So even if you think you have finished already or you have only 2 remaining courses, including the capstone, then you are so welcome to fill out that form to express your interest or your intent and to earn your commitment to graduate from that pathway. Um, so if you still want to pursue another pathway, then don't worry. We're still making plans for those who have more than 2 courses. Abang na lang po for 2023. We will definitely be announcing stuff. Thank you.
Thank you, Miss Pam. We have another question here. I think this is for Sir Xavier. This one likes to be anonymous, so from Zoom. So I'm an economics undergrad and I've always wanted to work in the development sector. Basically, I want to help people on the ground lead better lives. In fact, my undergraduate thesis is on poverty. But I'm also equally passionate about data science. I am very well aware that data science is still a corporate job field. So how do you think I can reconcile both passions? Do you think there's a future when I don't have to pick one over the other?
But I wouldn't say future. It's now. If you join the hackathon, for example, for Kawayan, or if you joined it, or similar to that, because I think that's not going to be the end of it. Right? We're gonna be making a lot more hackathons that do social impact. And that's gonna be your easiest and your earliest and your most sort of your least barrier to entry into doing social good, doing community development, doing data for urban planning, blah blah blah. That merges data with your passion for nation building. So being able to join things like the BARM hackathon, or even I don't know if you're still going to do Iloilo hackathon or all the other hackathons that are supposedly aligned to help these LGUs. That's really going to help. I mean, I can cite a lot of the challenges right now, which is, you're so passionate about data, but there's lack of it. There's just none. I would actually beg to differ. There's really a lot of data out there. There's a lot of satellite data you can pull. Heck, you can pull surveys. You can go around. You can take pictures. Like there's so many things you can do. It's just unstructured, and people are super used to structured data where it's already in tables, it's in an Excel sheet, it's in a database. If we set aside our pride and we push forward with that grit and our passion for nation building, we should be able to make things work even with a very limited amount of structured data that we can get our hands on. So yeah, I think hopefully that answers the question.
Thank you, Sir Xavier. So I'm still seeing questions here regarding the confusion between our capstone courses and then the capstone assessment in our courses. So just like to reiterate that these are two different things. So yung pathway capstone course po natin, pathway capstone course, that is to be taken once you have 75% pathway completion or you have already completed all the required core and elective courses. Basically, application po lahat ng naaral nyo sa SPARTA. So parang mini thesis siya. Well, the other one, the capstone assessment, those are included within the courses. So parang mini lang sila, research paper or mini creations that you need to submit and to be graded by your peers. So ganun po sila. So if ever you are confused between the two, the other one is a pathway capstone course, the other one is a capstone assessment included in some of our courses. Ayun. So, yes. My, my question po here, hindi ba prepaid na ng DOST ang scholarship naming? Why can't daw the scholars be boarded immediately to Linang? So, kasi po ang funding agency natin is DOST and unfortunately, the project is ending only this November kasi 3-year is the original plan for this project. I think Miss Pam or Nico can expound on this.
Hi, RV. Oo. Ano yung the question? Let me see. I think it is a chat, no?
Yes, Miss. Why can't ano daw po, we onboard all our scholars immediately to Linang? Why do we have to pick first those with 1 to 2 courses left or those with capstone?
Yes. Okay. Yes, as you mentioned that the project is funded by DOST for 3 years. So the scholarship ends by 3 years. But we are currently asking for an extension na hindi pa siya, well, it's still pending with them. So while we are it's waiting for any final decision from them, we would like to move forward and have everyone na malapit nang matapos to be finished. In as much as we want to include everyone, I mean, kahit naman ako, scholar din ako, diba? If you'd like to include everyone, hindi naman din siya ganun ka-possible given that wala na siyang funding. End na po yung funding ng DOST. So, if your question earlier was hindi ba prepaid, it is for 3 years prepaid, and it is composed of a lot of things. It's not just from the start part of Sparta since 2019, the creation of courses and everything. So it's not as simple as being prepaid, parang call card. Hindi lang po ganun po siya. Okay.
Thank you, Miss Pam. And for those who reposted his question, what if you already completed 75% of the courses and your pathway capstone is opened already or you're taking that in course bank? Are you qualified to be included in Linang? Yes, you are already qualified provided that you are already taking your capstone or you only have 1 to 2 remaining core or elective courses. So ayun po, pathway capstone course or 1 to 2 pathway capstone course. So just to clarify things out. Again, so thank you very much to our speakers. Before we end this forum, I think we just need to have your final last words to our Spartans and ano po ang masasabi, ang ating final advice for those who want to make a career out of data science and analytics. So let's start to go with Miss Pam. Miss Pam?
Thank you, RV. It has been a journey. It has been a very good journey, I think, for all of us Spartans. So, for that, I am so grateful to have you, to actually have met you online and to teach you. Sabi nga ni Prof. X, ni aking, the, the best instructor ever. um, One of the ways for you to learn is to teach. And it has also been a good journey for me to teach you. Um, that being said, it is not the end of Sparta. And we are trying our best not to end Sparta. The platform may end, but the courses will also live on. So I know a lot of you are disappointed, a lot of you, but I hope you would still continue the journey with us once we get uh, feedback from the OST and once we have plans for you. We have been planning for you and we'll be planning for the beyond, for the sustainability of these courses. So I hope you don't lose hope with Sparta and continue with us with your journey until you become the data scientists, data analysts, data stewards, analytics managers, and data engineers that you have planned to be. And that. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Miss Pam. And now to Nico. Nico, do you have any final words to our scholars who have been with us for the past 3 years? Okay, so I think Nico's not here, or maybe his internet connection. So for Profs, Sir Xavier, do you have any final words po?
Sure. And I guess coming from Miss Pam's, wow, nag-miss ako. No? Coming from Pam's thoughts, no, and obviously Sparta is not stopping anytime soon. It's just the scholarship and the platform. If I were to summarize this entire discussion, it's really just those two things. It's us trying to help you transition into a completely different platform. And since DOST's promise ends in November 14, the scholarship itself ends as well. So that's kind of the reality, right? Pag naubusan ka ng pera and hindi ka nakahingi ng baon sa magulang mo, wala kang baon sa magulang mo. You know what I mean? Like, we're trying to ask for more baon, or at least Pam is. But until then, this is us here in this Zoom meeting helping you while we're running on fumes. Hopefully that's clear. No? We're all running on fumes. The scholarships are all well and good, but if they end in November 14, afterwards, we're still going to support you. Like, that's kind of the point of this call. I get the frustration, and I will be extremely frustrated if I started yesterday and it's ending in 3 weeks or something. That's fine, but that shouldn't be the end of your journey, right? It should only just be the start. And especially for those who want to transition from one profession to the other. And I saw some comments like, "Hey, I want to stay in my profession and do data science." Let me summarize by saying, if you do something with half of your heart, it is bound to fail. And that is true for all of the things that we're doing. And so with that, if you're doing any of the courses, any of the pathways, any of the specializations, and you're asking, hey, I'm only finished 75, 50%, 25%. If you're not in it for 100% of your time, if you have to ask how much of your hours should you spend a day, you're already bound to fail. Real talk, right? Because we're here to help you, but you have to help yourself. So I think with that, that should close my thoughts on this. Thank you.
Thank you, Sir Xavier. So again, what a very informative open forum session. And if you have any further questions, you can send that to our social media channels and our emails. So we will get back to you as soon as we can. And now, to wrap up our event for the day and to deliver the closing remarks, may I call on none other than the Sparta Project Manager, Ms. Joanne Lizelle Kiunuke. Good afternoon, Ms. Joanne.
Hello, good afternoon. Good afternoon, RP. Good afternoon, everyone. Uh, magandang hapon po sa ating mga uh, nag-join sa ating virtual town hall today, despite of it being a Saturday. We thank you for your trust and support to Project Sparta, which for the past 3 years. So despite facing some setbacks because of the COVID-19 pandemic, the project team was able to achieve what it set out to do, that of making the country smarter and more data-driven by training over 40,000 data science and Filipinos in data science and analytics through our pathways and massive open online courses, giving them the avenue to apply this through our data-driven events and initiatives. We believe that through the partnerships with the local governments, academic institutions, and private organizations, we were able to reach various sectors nationwide to further spread the importance of DSA in the fourth industrial revolution. The project team would not have been able to achieve all this without our cooperating agency that mounted Project Sparta, the Development Academy of the Philippines, the Department of Science and Technology that provided the funding, the Analytics Association of the Philippines, and Course Bank. We are also grateful to our subject matter experts who have shared so much of their time and knowledge to our learners through our courses, live sessions, roadshows, and other events. Of course, Sparta's achievements would not have been possible without our scholars. Some were already familiar with data analytics, but a great number of you were also beginners and career shifters who trusted us to embark on your new journey to become smarter and data-driven. As Danish poet Mia Hanson once said, as we close one chapter, the pen is gradually inking up, preparing itself to write the next. And so as we navigate a new chapter for Project Sparta, we ask everyone to please anticipate our future programs and events. I've been listening to the discussions earlier and to the comments in the chat box. I've read some of those. I sense the frustration, but believe me, the DAP is making ways to continue this project. The funding may have ended, but the intent of the DAP management is to continue continue the rollout of the data science and analytics courses through one of our centers. So that's the Center for Excellence in Data Science and Analytics. And we're actually exerting all efforts to source some funds so that we may be able to continue some the scholarships of those enrolled scholars, but that is not a promise because the DAP, as you know, is a government-owned and controlled corporation, and it earns its income from the project that it contracts with other agencies. So hindi po kami dependent dun sa GAA. So we're running like parang independent corporation. So sana po nauunawaan ninyo yon. And kaya po ang commitment namin with or without the extension by the DOST, At least po, gusto namin po makatapos yung, mauna munang makatapos yung merong 1 to 2 courses na natitira. So for now, I encourage all of our scholars to work hard in completing your remaining courses and pathways by November 14 to be able to take part in the third recognition ceremony on November 29. During the recognition ceremony, we shall also award the winners of our hackathon and open data challenge for Kawayan City. So we are grateful to everyone who joined the competitions and took on the task of helping Kawayan City with your outputs. We will announce the participants who reach the pitching stage of the competitions in the coming days. So stay tuned po sa ating social media pages for updates. Again, on behalf of DAP President and Chief Executive Officer, Attorney Engelbert Caronan, Vice President and SPARTA Project Lead, Dr. Alan Cajes, and the entire SPARTA Project team, thank you for attending this virtual town hall and making SPARTA a success. We look forward to what you will achieve with your newfound learnings and competencies. And we also hope that your data-driven journey does not end with SPARTA. So may you continue to use your skills for the betterment of our nation so that we can achieve a smarter and future-ready Philippines. Mabuhay po tayong lahat at maraming salamat po.
Maraming salamat din sa inyo, Ms. Joanne. Maraming salamat po for your very kind and encouraging words. And thank you very much to all our speakers for today. So before we end the program, I ask everyone to fill out the feedback form that will be flashed on your screen. And also the Project Sparta team is going to paste the link in the Zoom's chat box as well as in our Facebook and YouTube live stream. And for those asking if you can view the videos or the recordings of these sessions, don't worry, they are available in our YouTube and Facebook channels. So again, your responses will help us in improving our upcoming events. So please don't forget to fill out our feedback form. So now may I ask everyone to switch on their camera for a quick photo session. Therese, if you're here, you can take the photo.
Hi, RVS. Let me just check how many pages we have. 6 pages. Okay, requesting everyone not to send a message while the photo session is ongoing so that your messages won't be captured. I'll begin with page 1 on my cue. Ready your smiles, everyone. 3, 2, 1, smile. Page 2, 3, 2, 1, smile. Page 3, 3, 2, 1, smile. Page 4, 3, 2, 1, smile. Page 5, 3, 2, 1, smile. And then for our last page, 3, 2, 1, smile. Back to you, RV.
Thank you very much for taking the photos, Therese. Again, thank you also to all our speakers, to those who join us on Zoom, Facebook, and YouTube live stream despite being on Saturday, dapat weekend na to. And thank you as well to the team who made this event possible. We hope you can all join us in our future events. Once again, I am RV Kayabyab of the DAP Project Sparta. Thank you everyone, and this has been the Sparta Online Town Hall. Ingat po kayo.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you everyone. Bye-bye.